Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you.
For 5 years now, the Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable has highlighted best practices to encourage employers across our region to diversify their supplier base and advance minorities in their leadership, guided in large part by the spirit of the Rooney Rule. Created by the late Dan Rooney, the rule mandated that NFL teams interview minority coaches for any open positions, since been adopted in other industries as well. Well, this year, the CEIR will be honoring Mr. Rooney at its annual conference, which is tomorrow at Duquesne University. Tim Stevens is chairman of the Black Political Empowerment Project and co-creator of the Roundtable. Barry Nathan is the CEO of Leader Business Coaching. Welcome. Good to have you both here.
Good to be here.
Yeah, congratulations. 5 years doing this. This is a big milestone.
We're still standing. And the excitement is building. I feel real good about it. We feel good about it. We've had a wonderful team working together very frequently. And we think we've come up with a phenomenal lineup, a power lineup of people, from the mayor to county exec. Dennis Jablonski as your president, CEO of the conference, and we have Maxwell King ending it as the closing remarks
from the Pittsburgh Foundation. Yeah, bringing out the big guns, I'll tell you.
And we have Esther Bush from the Urban League, Doris Carson Williams dealing with a panel on diversity.
Right. You started this, as we said, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I know when you started, it was based on some pretty dire statistics in this region about the economic disparity, especially as it involves black and white, but I think majority and minority communities in general. Sure. Do you feel like punching away at this for 5 years, you're making an impact, you're getting people to pay attention to the issue, and most important, change behavior?
I think that when some of us met, Barry was in that meeting. We met with Dr. Humphrey, Kathy Humphrey, the senior vice chancellor of Pitt,
who's also on the program,
and our keynote.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I can't wait. We were inspired. I go to a lot of meetings, as you know. I was inspired when I left that meeting. One of the things she talked about was University of Pittsburgh has accepted this year as a year of diversity and inclusion, and they're working on a 5-year plan. Later on, we met with Dr. James Taylor from UPMC. They're working on a 5-year plan on diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the things that Dr. Humphrey said in that meeting that moved me, she said, we're working on this plan, but I want these changes and this commitment to be part of the culture eternally, permanently. Because, Bill, you and I, and we have been working on this and others for many, many years. I, as a civil rights activist, 4.5 decades. We're not being successful as we need to be. I think what we've accomplished is we have begun to plant seeds. The seeds are beginning to sprout. Share, which I just picked up the flyer for, that's going to be put into the back of the program, initiated by UPMC, and I'll share it with other.
That's the supplier diversity effort involving a number of companies across town.
Yes,
and I wonder, Brady,
came out of Rob DiMache at the first conference.
Yeah, you work with companies all the time around these kinds of issues. Is there more of an awareness? Is there a good business case for paying attention to these issues, as well as a wonderful moral case?
There is a very big business case, which is, as we have changing demographics going on, both in terms of retirements, but also looking at the new millennial generation coming in, they have a different perspective on what they're looking for. And one of the signals that they look for is diversity.
Even a white millennial.
That's right.
Yes. They're looking for diverse organizations as well.
And especially as we talk about how do we attract people from out of town into these positions, whether white or black. That sense of looking at the workforce as they come in, and just during the interviews, will make a difference in how they perceive the organization, whether it's a place that's going to be progressive, is it someplace they want to be, is it someplace they're going to fit in. So it's a very big issue, and we're seeing a lot of organizations now that are taking this very, very seriously. Now that the recession is over to that degree, where they are really coming back to looking for where's our future workforce and how do we ensure, particularly in Pittsburgh, that we're going to be able to attract the people we need, because we're going to have a huge retirement boom.
You talk about the business case, but here in Pittsburgh, we're very white. I think we're like the 87% white, so it's very easy to just keep doing business the way we've already always done it. It really is important for any leader to be mindful about this issue if they want to make a change, is it not?
And that's why we brought the revised Rooney Rule with roots, or with results. The hybrid Rooney Rule with results, meaning that you find the people of color, interview them, and employ them.
Make the effort.
Make the
Identify
effort,
them.
a serious effort,
Yeah, a
an
serious
ongoing effort.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things in Pittsburgh is the need to be very intentional about what we're doing, and not just in terms of at the point of hiring, but particularly when it comes to the issues of retention, because we can forget about it right after hiring.
Right.
But the key issue is how do we retain this population for the visual aspects as well as the content and expertise that they bring.
Well, and we hear this a lot from employers in the region. We have great companies here. They can recruit people from all over the place, but they have a really hard time retaining them. And some of these issues often play part of it. So, still have room if people want to come tomorrow and participate.
We're almost filled. We're literally right on the edge. But CEI Roundtable at gmail.com. CEI Roundtable at gmail.com or 412-212-8775. 212-8775.
All right, we'll see you at Duquesne University. First thing
and you'll be
tomorrow
there
morning.
hosting us and emceeing as usual.
Yeah, enjoy doing it
all
every
5
year,
years.
Tim Stevens and Barry Nathan from the Corporate Equity and Inclusion Roundtable.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to seeing you.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Yeah. And we'll be back in a minute with little dollars and cents. Stay with us.